Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Las Blancas. We are 2 games into the season, and it hasn't been a great start. Let's just put it that way. 2 games into the season, still winless. It was the first Madrid derby of the season, first official Madrid derby of the season because we faced Madrid CFF in the preseason as well. Uh, but it was against Atletico Madrid. Uh, and we ended up losing the game 2-1 with a red card to senior Bruun. So if it wasn't bad already, it got worse in this game. Uh, a lot of things happened, a lot of things to talk about as well. I feel a lot of individual players, a lot of things about the tactics, about the substitutions. There is a lot to unpack here. And to do all of that, as always, I've got my therapy partner, I should say now, Kanita. How you doing, Kanita, after that game?
Well, pissed, first of all, but I think for a neutral watching that game, that was a perfect shit show to watch. I mean, I can't really say a great game. These Madrid derbies are always shit shows, but it had so much. We also had some VAR revisions, and it was really something. And to add up on your lapses there, like you said, if it wasn't worse already, I would say if it wasn't worse already, it got worser, honestly. I would just put that as a, complete statement there. So yeah, I was more pissed. You might hear more of a rant today from me than something tactical, but you have Yash here to talk about, tactical stuff. So, we're gonna have it balanced a bit.
Yeah, and we are fortunate we are not recording this immediately after the game
Yeah.
because that would be frustrating to watch in the first place. But an away derby, uh, a loss isn't great. I would have taken a draw given the way we were playing and given the fact that we were down a player for the last 30 minutes of the game. But let's get into it. Let's start by looking at the lineups because it was an interesting lineup. We as soon as the lineups came out, like, and this season we have been putting our lineups out 2 hours before the game. Somehow, not sure why,
Mm.
but we are doing that. So let's quickly go through the lineup because it was interesting. It got people talking. It got me surprised as well as to what we were trying to do. So it was again Merle Frohms in goal. Looks like she has that edge over Misa at the moment. It was Silvi starting as the right back, Lacrar and Mendes as our centre back partnership, Sara starting as our left back. Double pivot had changed. It was Angeldal and Toletti, and a front four of Athenea, Weir, Linda Caicedo, and Bruun. So when you look at from midfield to attack, there seems to be, a sort of a normalcy. This is what we have seen last season as well. This is what we have seen quite a bit, and we know that this works, right? This works even under Toril, right? And the change happened in the defensive line, which is quite shocking. You don't change that often. My initial thought was, is Shay injured? But she wasn't. She came on in the second half, and Silvi was put in the starting lineup in a big game, in an away derby game, and I'm not sure if I am too comfortable with that. What did you make of that starting lineup? What were your initial thoughts when you had a look at it? What did you make of it?
So, Sylvie is a center back,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware. And I know when the lineups just came out, you mentioned we've been for some reason putting them out 2 hours early. So we had like 2 hours before the game to contemplate what the lineup was. But I know that like before the game we were talking like, is this a back free? I mean, I wasn't really seeing how would this be a back free with the rest of the players, but then like, is he just starting her as a right back in the Madrid derby? Just throwing a 17-year-old to the wolves, really, like feeding her to the wolves, really, like, are we doing that now? This is her first start, by the way, and in a Madrid derby, in a game like this, with a lot of tension always, and obviously what happened at halftime to sub her off, I mean, that's a confidence killer. But man, I don't know. For some reason, he thought, okay, I won't start Shay. I have a perfectly fit right back, and I won't start her. I will start 17-year-old center back instead. I don't know. I have no possible logical explanation behind this at all. I don't know. Like, she, like, just Sylvie looking at her, she was, decent. Well, in her defensive action, she was pretty decent. I like what she did, but in the whole picture, I don't know how or why he put her there. But yeah, honestly, poor kids with Quesada and like 2 out of 2 confidence killers in the 2 only games we've played. So but let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the previous game and in the preseason, we saw Irune being trusted, and I was like, okay, this looks promising. Maybe, we are going to see Irune a lot. And then Irune started the league opener against Logroño.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up drawing that game 2-2. Not the best performance. Gave away the first goal, to be honest, and it was a pretty poor performance. Second game, she is out. Uh, Silvi comes in at right back, a position she is not comfortable with. Initially, my thought was, first of all, I thought it was Silvi at right back. Then, after thinking a little bit about it, I was like, oh, maybe it's Lacrar at right back and Silvi playing as the centre back, because Lacrar has done that for France as well. So I was like, maybe we can, maybe this is what, but it wasn't the case. Silvi was playing as the right back, a position she has never played. And the thing was that she got a little too aggressive. She was on a yellow card in the first half, and it was very easy. She was up against tricky dribblers like Macarena and Luany, and these players are pretty skilled on the ball. And they were isolating Sylvie. They were forcing her to engage, and she bought the bait. She is young. She is learning. So, there's obviously that curve, and she committed a foul that earned her a yellow, and playing the entire game with that yellow card would have been risky. So I wasn't too mad at getting a young player subbed off at half time, but I think this absolutely kills their confidence. And this is not a great sort of look for what is to come. But let's start by talking about the game. Let's initially I felt like we did not play well overall, but I think the way we started with Bruun and Weir back together as the front two in our off ball structure, I think like our press was quite good. I think we were pressing quite intensely early on. We were pushing bodies. We had that intensity that we saw in the preseason, and I was like, okay, maybe this is finally all coming together for him somehow. But once that press settled, in the 18th minute, we concede from yet again from a corner. I don't think we'll ever learn how to defend set pieces. I think I've just made my peace with it. But what were your thoughts on that goal that we conceded from corner? Because it was a pattern that they were specifically trying. I think they were targeting Gabi as the tallest player at the far post. They were playing it quite long. Gabi was unmarked, and she would play the ball across in the 6 yard box to cause chaos and for anyone to just get a head on it and score. That is what happened for the first goal, and it was a very conscious decision from Atleti on the corners. What did you make of it?
So fun fact, I forgot to disable the notifications for my score app, and I got a slight spoiler just ahead of the goal, but it was so funny because I got the sound like, oh, when your team concedes from FOTMOB, and as soon as I got the notification, we conceded a corner, And I said, "Oh, we're conceding from a corner. Of course we are." And I'm like, "Yeah, makes sense. We conceded." And I'm, why? We keep doing this. Like you said, I will make my peace with it too. At this point, I don't know when this will change. If this will change, maybe this will be our little tradition to complain about conceding set pieces till the end of times. I don't know, but yeah. Honestly, I don't have anything to add to it. Just I was just pissed at it.
We are 2 games into the season. We have already had a game where we dropped points against a lower ranked side or a newly promoted side. We have had a game where we have conceded from a corner already. We have our very first red card. We have our very first defeat. It has been, we are completing a bingo of what you wouldn't want in season pretty quickly here. And it's not looking good because things got worse from here on. Um, we went into halftime behind, and honestly, like we were lucky to not go behind by multiple goals because they were attacking quite well. After that initial like 15 minutes, I would say, where we pressed really high. Once that press settled off, I think uh, we lost every sense of control. After that first goal, especially, they had a similar corner routine in the 23rd minute, like 5 minutes later, which was the same thing they did. They put the ball long again. Gabi, really tall, just gets the header on first contact and puts it in the 6 yard box to cause chaos. And we were saved there, but it's again the same technique that worked for them. So we go into halftime behind, and then come a host of changes, right? At halftime, we bring on Shea, we bring on Eva Navarro, and we replace Weir and we replace Silvi.
Yeah.
We are replacing a player that is our all-time leading goal scorer, that is our all-time leading assist provider. Agreed the fact that she did not have the best performance in the first game where we were playing with a weird false nine formation. But we have seen in the past, Weir is a game-changing player. And I think like it's pretty clear that this manager really likes Eva Navarro
Mm.
because she is getting regular game time. She's getting starts. She's being preferred first off the bench at all times, and it's good. Like Eva Navarro is a good player. I get completely, but in case of Weir, uh, I don't know what to make of that now. What did you make of those halftime changes?
No, I'm just this is supposed to be one of our talking points either way, but man, she should have come on for Athenea.
Yeah,
I don't know why he just didn't sub off Athenea. It was just she how to explain it. Athenea wasn't a winger. It seemed like I mean she was completely disconnected in the second half, especially when we got this sub. So between this halftime sub and the red card, she she wasn't a winger anymore. She was like dropping a bit to the center and letting like Sara go wide while she goes and waits in the box. Like she was doing that after, and I don't know what why why wasn't she first subbed off? I mean everyone was practically talking about she didn't even have a good game against Logroño. She was losing the ball all the time. She was also doing pretty badly in the derby, and she was captaining the team in this game as well. So I don't know, like, is it because he didn't want to change the captain, and the captain would not be one of the top four because none of the others were available, or Misa wouldn't come on, obviously. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was really adamant on figuring that part out. Like we're subbing off, we're putting on Eva, when you have Athenea underperforming. That was my main source of rage all up till that red card. So, I had that fueled up. So, yeah. I don't know what you think about Athenea's game. I can put up your path network that you shared.
Yeah, honestly, like we will get to talking about Athena because I think it's a big talking point as well, or we can talk about her now. She has been made captain of the side,
Yeah.
right? Uh, Based on the fact that she has been here for one of the longest times, along with Nisa. So based on seniority at the club, she's the captain, but I feel like she isn't ready for the captainship role, or the fact that uh, the the team doesn't accept her as a captain yet. Like she wants to do well. Like everyone wants to do well as the captain. They want to be that leader. They want to be that difference maker. She started on the right. Then when Eva came on, she was pushed to the left. She was coming inside a lot. She was operating through middle sometimes. But we spoke about this last season as well. Athenea's game has plateaued a little bit. We don't see that much of a spark now, where she is consistently kind of making a difference for the team, winning games single-handedly. We don't see that. In the preseason, we were like, okay, we are seeing her score maybe that the first goal as well that we scored this season against Logroño, it was her shot, I think, that got deflected in by Maria
Yeah.
Mendes. So, we were like, okay, maybe this captaincy will, sort of bring out that leader inside her. But I feel like she's trying too hard right now,
Yeah.
and it's not working. There are players with much more experience than her in the team, a lot, like who have experienced a lot of things in their career, who have reached the pinnacle, who have been some of the best players in their position, or currently some of the best players in their position. And to, sort of demand that command or demand that respect, it's difficult in a dressing room like that. That is why you need figures like Caroline Weir, who captains the side at times for her country, who is one of the talisman for their country. It's difficult to buy their confidence, and I think that is what is happening. One of the incidents that was doing rounds on social media as well was when Bruun received the red card, just
Yeah.
like 15 minutes after the second half started, and I think it's stupid challenge from Bruun, right? Like can't defend her, no need for that challenge. But she's frustrated because she's not getting the ball, she's not getting the service, she's not getting anything in a game where, in the first game she was benched, uh, and she wasn't trusted. So she wants to make a mark, and I get that frustration, but it was a very stupid decision from her to jump like that for a challenge, like near their box where there
Yeah.
isn't even pressure. They don't even have a goal scoring opportunity or anything like that. Pretty stupid. Deserved red card. But then the clip that was doing round was Athenea asking her to leave the pitch from that side, and she seemed very agitated for that.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll leave from that side. And, I get the point that we are trailing in a game, and you want to move on quickly, but it's not like we had momentum at that point. It wasn't like Bruun leaving from that side would have killed our momentum, wherein we were just so close to scoring or anything. We weren't. And these little frustrations, once she goes out, it's Caroline Weir once again consoling her. As a
Yeah.
captain, you have to consider these little things, because if you lose your squad, it becomes very difficult. And Athenea, like largely as well, isn't the most likable player around, right? Like the rival fans hate her. Not just rival, but there are a lot of fans who Madridista who are personally not a big fan of her. She's not the most likable personality around. Like, let's just put it that way. So when you start to alienate some of the players that you have, it's gonna become difficult. There are multiple other clips as well wherein she's howling instructions at Maria Mendes and Lacrar, and they seem really not
Mm.
interested in hearing about it. And I feel that is a problem that the management needs to look at. If Misa isn't starting, Misa is the sort of player that is very respected in the dressing room, that is liked by a lot of people in the dressing room as well, and she gets along with a lot of people in the dressing room. So having a captain like that is helpful, but now we are in a situation where Misa's position is threatened by Fromm's presence, and so Athenea becomes the automatic next captain. Uh, and Athenea isn't the most likable figure in the dressing room. So it's a tricky position, and I personally think the seniority thing has to go away when you have players like Weir and all. I think Weir should be our captain. I think she has led this side on her own without a captain's armband, and she has done stuff that we wouldn't even imagine being possible. So I don't know. What do you make of the whole captaincy thing and the videos that were going around after the game?
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about that same clip as well, and it looked like she was just trying to make her mark as a captain or something, like just to do something in that pivotal moment, and it was obviously a wrong thing to do. I mean, why frustrate your teammate even further? And then on the sidelines, there was also a lot of confusion. Like Quesada wanted to challenge the the decision, but it was also the rule that you can't challenge yellow, since it was a second yellow, not a direct. You can't. There was a lot going on around that red card, and her just kind of pushing Bruun to go out quicker was very weird. But I think that we since that picture of the four captains was posted, there has been a lot of remarks in the fan base of, well, the kind of chaos that might erupt this season, because what we are seeing, from starting the season, 2 out of 2 games so far, with Misa being the first captain. Then we have Pere, who is injured, the second captain. Then we have Athenea, third captain, and then Rocio as the fourth captain. So, these are the players that, well, I don't know. Like, it's not really a stable thing. I mean, obviously, your second captain is injured right now, so she can't play for at least half a season, probably. Athenea, we're already, and Rocio is like the third choice center back. They're rarely playing, only when one of the two is injured. So yeah, it's for a 5-year-old team. I don't think, well, this like seniority thing was a thing like since the beginning. You put they did put captains as it was in the beginning, but then they just adopted the seniority thing like it is in the men's team. But you can't really put this with a 5-year-old team. You have to look at the other factors. Like everyone is talking about how Weir should be captain, and I agree with it. She's more experienced, and as you made the arguments about the national team as well. I mean, I don't know why this whole thing with the seniority is still being brought up with this team. I don't think it should. It's a very young team. It's making its own history, and it's a very new one. So yeah, I don't know. Like it was, and as you said, I mean, from to me, like when Athenea gets flustered in a game, she makes some really childish moves, some really childish reactions as well. Whenever it's an intense game, so I don't think really she's fit for a captain. To speak softly, honestly. But yeah, honestly, she played the entire game, and it's just like it was forced, because gotta start and end with the captain. And I was just like thinking, we got Pau Comendador promoted, and oh my god, we will finally see Atenea's position being challenged, but then the captaincy is in play as well. So I don't know. I think this captaincy thing would disrupt the whole season, and I'm afraid of that.
And the fact that you mentioned the four captains that we have at this point in time, if Tere is fit, I think only one player out of those four starts for this team, which is Tere, and she's injured. You can easily replace Athenea with Eva Navarro at this
Yeah.
point in time, which seems to be the preference because I think the manager likes the players who stay wide, at least on one flank. So that is why I think Eva Navarro fits his style a little bit more. Plus, I would imagine if Eva plays the entire season, she can produce similar numbers to Athenea. So they are replaceable player. If we look at the goalkeeping situation now, we don't know if Misa starts in a Champions League game up next. But Frohms seem to be really solid, and we'll talk about her in this pod as well. But Frohms has taken up that position. Rocio isn't a starter, so it's a very weird spot to be in, especially when you have players like Sandy Toletti, Caroline Weir, who can be that captain. Even Maria Mendes, to be honest, Maria Mendes has been captain at Levante before, and she has captained the side for a while, so she has that experience. So we have all these players who can do it. Let's see what's in store with the captaincy talk out of our way. I think let's talk about the game because after that red card, I had lost all hope. I did not think that we were going to, sort of come back in this game. And if we were going to, it would need a moment of magic. We had made a substitution just before Sara Däbritz and Benison came on, replacing Toletti and Ongeldal. So I think now every fit player has played some minutes this season already in two games. We basically have everyone apart from Misa, obviously. She hasn't played in the two games, but we have seen Comendador, we have seen Bruun, we have seen Redondo, we have seen Silvi, we have seen Yasmin, we have seen Sheila, and Rocio and Bella Anderson obviously haven't played. But apart from that, I think most of the players have played some sort of minutes now. Uh, but yeah, beyond that, uh, Sara Däbritz came on. We got a free kick. It's quite far, honestly. And Sara Däbritz has set pieces in her locker room. Great left-footed player. Can put in crosses from corners. Can put in balls from set pieces. Absolutely whips one in and puts us level. And I think that was the happiest I have been across these two games this season. In that moment, it was absolute euphoria. What did you make of that free kick, and what was your reaction seeing that from Sara?
Wow, stunning goal. I mean, we don't get to see goals like that often in our team. We have scored only a handful, maybe like three more free kicks directly. And I mean, this one is to be remembered, obviously. And we made the sub like 4 minutes after the red card, and I was thinking, okay, we needed some refresh anyway, and oh boy, did Debritz come with that refresh with that goal. So yes, thank you, Sara. Honestly, what a goal, and so glad to see them. I mean, I saw her golden foot in our set pieces even the last game. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm so glad like it got like this climax in this with this goal. So yeah, amazing goal, honestly.
Yeah, definitely it was one of the goals of the season. I think early
Mm,
contenders for it, definitely. But the happiness did not last long
yeah.
because 11 minutes later,
Mm.
Atleti were back in front, and you look at that second goal, uh, and you wonder what are we doing defensively because nobody is closing Luany down for the shot. If you look at that, and it's very frustrating to watch that because Redondo, who has come on to replace Sarah Homegard, and we'll talk about these substitutions as well. Redondo, who came on and replaced Sarah Homegard, and then we had Shayla playing as the left back and Eva Navarro playing as the right back. We'll talk about that. But when you look at that second goal that Atleti scored, Redondo is there. She is not making any challenge. She is absolutely caught in two minds about what to do, and she does nothing. She does nothing. They let Luany take shot. You see Lacrar as well there, waiting for the challenge to come there. So she's not challenging herself. She's moving back. They give her all the time and space that she needs, and she picks out the top corner, and it's impossible for Merle Frohms to save. That second goal is so frustrating because it could have, you apply a little pressure on her, you challenge her, and you block that space. Don't allow her to shoot. Like that is the bare minimum. She's one of the most dangerous ball carriers in the league. Like she's one of those typical, your Caroline and Jayce sort of player that can carry the ball, that can shoot from her carries, and you're giving her space like that in the box that close. Come on, that's a rookie mistake. What did you make of the second goal?
It felt like our defense, especially like Lacra, which was very weird, like that they were waiting to see where the ball will end up. So odd. Like I legit looked at Lacra just, w- following the ball with her eyes, above her and waiting for Luany to get it. It was so weird. So I don't know what happened with that, glitch in Matrix, I guess, with the defense. They had a few mishaps, with some very weird sort of passes and challenges which are just like and ending up as giveaways throughout the game, but that ended up not, being goals otherwise. But there were a few glitches in the Matrix, and that one was so weird. It was like it was put to a stop.
I like watching that, and I'm very frustrated on Redondo on that goal. Like
Yeah.
she's doing nothing there. She's just standing watching as a pedestrian, watch her set it up, no pressure, then allowing her to take a shot. It's very frustrating to watch, honestly. But yeah, that happened. They went ahead, they stayed ahead. And honestly, like it's thanks to Merle Froms that we weren't behind by a lot in this game. You mentioned glitch in the matrix or whatever, but our defense was not at it. We were allowing them too many shots. It was coming from Silvi's side, it was coming from Sara's side, it was coming from all over. They had in the middle Gabi and Wildeborisa doing really well. They dominated our midfield too, and then Gabi would, spring the ball up front, and then they would have Macarena, Luany all running, and also
Geo.
Geo as well. If Geo could have her finishing boots on, we would have been in big trouble. We
Yeah.
would have been in big, big trouble. Like all these runners in behind, we struggle to deal with them quite a bit, honestly. And special credit to Mulfrons. I think if there's one player in this team from that game that can walk out with her head held high, I think it's Merle Froms.
Yeah.
Three saves, all three from inside the box, and some really spectacular saves as well. So very close range, some very where she had to stretch a lot, and she did it. She reached the ball and she kept it out. What did you make of Merle Froms' performance?
Yeah, we would have been like at least 2-0 down in the first half. It wasn't for her, maybe even 3-0. Like first half was for me nothing. Like we were a bit more cautious, kind of weirdly activated after the red card, let's say. But yeah, she also had save after that, obviously. And yeah, honestly, it could have been a humiliation if it wasn't for her. And I'm really, really happy we got her for this sad game. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I have in my notes, I have Froms good saves and then timestamps. There's 44 in the 80th minute, and then
Yeah.
towards as well. Like she was on it. And I think we spoke about this as well. Her hand-eye coordination, her reflexes from close range are really good. So yeah, it's showing. Honestly, like I said that she can replace Misa in the starting lineup, and I think she's definitely making a case for it. But let's talk about the subs. You know, halftime, Weir goes off, comes on Shea and Eva. Then we take off both of our midfielders, Torretti and Angeldon, and we put in a new pair of midfielders basically. Then Sara comes off, as was the case in the previous game as well, for Redondo. So we were going for it. At this point, we are 1-0 behind, right? Like when Redondo comes on, we are still trailing by one. Sara goes off. We are one player down, by the way, and we bring on a striker again. We are going for the win. Okay, good, positive things. But then you consider the players that have been subbed off. It often feels premeditated. Last game as well, we saw Sara come off for Yasmin, uh, which did not make sense. Like Sara was having a decent game. You don't waste substitution subbing off a defensive player that has been doing well, hasn't done much wrong. And a lot of the time, this is where like Eva Navarro will definitely come on. Okay, you prefer her, fine. But then taking off Sara in the previous game made Shea play on the left hand side and then forced Eva Navarro to be playing as the right back, which meant a lot of space for them to attack because Eva Navarro was pushing up. Eva Navarro isn't your defender, right? Benison was trying to help her out, but Benison isn't that good defensively either. So, it's a lot of these subs seem premeditated, irrespective of what the game state is, what we need in the game. It doesn't feel like it. That whole Sara and Hannah Benison sub as well felt like, okay, I've got these two midfielders on the bench for me. Let me put them on, and I'll take off the other midfielder. It wasn't a thought out thing where okay, maybe I keep Toletti because Toletti will add that dynamism up front. She can cover both, and then I put on maybe somebody like Sara Däbritz who can also add a little bit of balance because we are a player down and still manage to retain that goal scoring ability. There is no thought like that behind it. At least it doesn't seem to me. What do you make of these substitutions from Quesada?
I mean, I already mentioned that I welcomed the refresh in the midfield, even though I do agree with the fact that he could have left Atleti be. It also wasn't Angeldal's game. So, subbing her off and putting Debritz on was, normal thing, fine. But at the same time, when, like subbing both of them out 4 minutes after the red card, yeah, very suspicious. Looked very premeditated, and I don't know. Like, listen, with this whole thing with what happened after the home guard sub, it would have maybe worked if instead of Eva, we had Feller on that side. Obviously, she wasn't available for the game, but if she was there, she is known to be pretty decent in defensive actions and stuff. So she would make it more stable on the right hand side. So I could see it more plausible if we had Feller on the pitch, but we obviously didn't. We didn't even have her on the bench. So yeah, I'm not sure like what, and especially like Redondo for home guard, very odd one, and with the whole switch up with Shea, I don't know why you make your players go through that while you're with one player less. Very odd. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that that second goal ended up being what it was with the a glitch with Redondo as well. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know for how long these premeditated subs will last because we were complaining for a long time for the same exact reason with Toril and his premeditated subs, and that lasted for like 3 years. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that lasts a little, less.
Yeah, it's a big it's a big problem. Honestly, like when you're not considering the fact what your team needs in the moment, and it also sort of underlines the fact that uh, he doesn't know his squad,
Yeah.
which is quite shocking because that is what the preseason is for. You have your play style, you identify players that fit your play style because at the moment in the season as well, it feels like he's trying to throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. Taking after at Young Doll, putting on Däbritz and Benison. If it works, wonderful. If it doesn't, I'll probably switch around in the next game again. Take off Sara, put on somebody else, put on another left back, put on a striker. Does not make sense to me. And yeah, it's honestly like hopefully this gets fixed because we have already dropped 5 points in the opening two games. Um, we were 8 points behind Barcelona last season, uh, four of which we dropped in the final two games. So we were just 4 points off Barcelona, and that was a season where we beat them, right? Where we beat them once. So and we won against almost every other opponent because that is the pace that you need. And I was maybe exaggerating when I said that our season could be done in September because next up we have Frankfurt,
Mm.
and if we lose that, we don't get the Champions League. We are relegated down to Europa League, and I don't know. Like I want to get your thoughts on this. Would you consider getting Europa League and maybe potentially winning it a success, or would the fact that you are not in the Champions League still be deemed as a failure?
I, mm, I mean, listen, winning, honestly, would be a win for me. Obviously, it's an official silverware, right? So obviously, but if this keeps up as it is now, and it doesn't change much, and he doesn't learn about his squad quick quickly, like he has to work fast, like chop chop. We're not winning anything. We're not even like going through the group stages in Europa League either. If we're doing like this, I don't know what will happen on the Thursday. I don't know what will happen a week later. Like we have two games against Eintracht. Our second leg is in Madrid, so maybe that's a plus for us. But oh boy, I don't know. And in between, we have another Madrid derby against Madrid CFF. So yeah, we have a, a lot. Like September is a very interesting month, much more interesting than I thought it would be, honestly. So I don't know, but I would take a silverware. Give me Europa League. I don't mind, but I don't think we would even win it if we continue like this.
Yeah, honestly, like it's tricky. I think for me, not getting Champions League when the ambitions are very clearly of being in Champions League would be a failure to some extent. But then if we go on to win Europa League, maybe it compensates a little.
Mm.
But I think, failing to get that group stage berth in the Champions League would be a failure for me. And if you look at the way Eintracht have started their season, they won their first game 5-0. Rautela looks absolutely brilliant. You've got Anyomi doing all the bits. You've got Laura Freigang there. It's not gonna be easy. And if we defend like this, they're gonna smash a 3 or 4. And
Yep.
I'm not as positive as I was when the draws came out, given the fact how we have played in these two games so far. So let's see what happens. We will be with you guys, bringing you everything as we do, and hopefully we finally have our first win of the season, and we finally managed to make it to the Champions League group stages as well. So let's see. At this point, it's just hoping because the signs that we have seen on the pitch aren't promising. You can't really can't really expect that to be the prime driver of your hope. So it's just blind faith now that this team will improve because they have quality players. Yeah, anything else from this game? I think that is about it. Do you have anything, Kanita?
No.
Okay, so let's wrap this up then. The women's football calendar is off to a great start. If you are following teams around the world, like it's an exciting start. A lot of money has been spent this window. So it's gonna be a fun season. It hasn't been fun for us so far, but hopefully that changes pretty soon. And hopefully that changes in Frankfurt when we play them in a couple of days. So let's see what happens. As always, we will bring you the coverage from that game as well. And thank you for listening to us as always. And I would love to hear what people think of the fact that whether they will consider winning Europa League as a success or will that be a failure. So yeah, if you're listening, please let us know what you think about it in the comments. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Until next time, Hala Madrid.
Real Madrid.